The American political system is hollowed out. Their power systems are collapsing. Because they've privatised everything, and that's something me and him actually disagree. We want to renationalise things like water, electric, rail systems. These are things that have to be renationalised.
When you say renationalise,
because they were owned by us.
Yeah, taken out of the private sector.
Absolutely taken out of the private sector. Yeah. Because they've not invested in decades. They give to shareholders only. And this is a policy that deeply angers us because there's sewage spillage that we talk about regularly, don't we? There's sewage spillage going on in the British waterworks right now. Thames just got fined its maximum amount that anyone's been fined just recently in recent press news that me and Chris were talking about in our last podcast. The one just gone, Thursday.
How much was it?
200 something.
Oh shit, 200.
Yeah, no. 200 million, something like that.
Wow.
Mad. And these companies are not investing in any infrastructure and haven't done for decades.
Because they're only worried about the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. This is why they should be taken back into public ownership and the shareholders given no fair value to it. It should be what we call eminent domain. We have these laws for a reason.
Okay, so I don't know the ins and outs of everything about public and not whatever. So if it was public, the transport, water, so on and so forth, what's the benefit of it being public?
Okay.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Brother Billy from the Brain Cell podcast.
I'm Tisnan from the Brain Cell podcast.
I'm Yahya, Sean or John, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris.
We are the BlueCollarWorkers.
And today we're going to be talking about
the British intersexation of the Muslim vote in and around Britain itself and the British Ummah.
And that also includes a lot of political talk as well.
It does.
So, as you saw in the intro, what Tisnan asked was a question which
into public ownership.
I could benefit from this knowledge
absolutely.
as well.
Into public ownership, first and foremost, we're not paying dividends.
Right.
So there is an enormous level of money still left in the company to repair and rebuild,
to reinvest
into the waterworks. You have to understand, the reason that dividends and money to the shareholders to these natural resources that were developed by your grandfather's taxpayer money, you as a Briton, if you're, I don't know how generational you are. I don't mean that as a disrespect. What I'm saying is, when your grandfathers went over in the 70s, when they were still publicly owned, they were investing. Now the Tories said they are slow, they don't respond well. That didn't mean, if I was back there now, I'd slap the living goddamn out of the Tories because the sale of these assets, they have not vastly improved since the 1980s to the 1990s. The infrastructure is that old. It's close to 30 years old now.
It would also save us money on our bills as well.
Absolutely. Because you're no longer paying dividends, so the bills would be what is necessary to pay the wages. And all other profit would be then ploughed into the facilities.
So as the company set up now, up north of United Utilities, the company shareholders, the directors and all that stuff, they take the money from the company as profit.
Yes, absolutely.
And
instead of them taking the profit, they will throw it back into the company.
So instead of directors, what you would have is executors.
Okay.
And executors would be paid a standard salary.
Yeah.
Let's say a Northern Water Company, no more than £60,000.
Right.
And you can live on 60 grand.
Yeah, easy.
Easier.
Yeah.
Easy. So you've got an executor running the company. He's not. He knows he's going to probably die in this job. So he's at the top of his waterboard tower. He is going to retire in that position. Now that's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's a stable thing.
Okay.
You've got all of his enablers. You have master engineers. You have power. You have waters. They go down all the way down the table.
Yeah.
What you've got is a vast amount of that money from the water, from the bills. You could slash those water bills in half, bringing it into public domain.
So why don't they?
Because it's deeply politically rooted in Thatcherism. The ideology that you should sell off. No state should be small. State shouldn't financially own anything. We wouldn't be the owners. The owners would effectively be you, the general public, wanting it entrusted, held by the government.
Yeah, that's too much power to give. That's what it is. The reason why is it's too much power to give to the people. It's too much power to give to the common folk.
Yeah, but the common folk...
Because we can then hold them accountable if something goes wrong. Exactly. Which is what they want
but
to
this
avoid.
way, if it's privatised, no one can say nothing.
That and the privatisation in Britain has utterly failed. There are points where private healthcare and private water, they're on country to country. Let's take Scandinavia an example. A place with a population that you could fit in Birmingham, and that's most of Scandinavia I'm talking about. I'm not talking about one country, I'm talking about 3 countries here. You can fit most of Scandinavia in Birmingham. in how small their population is. And they have free healthcare, they have free water bills, and these are all provided by companies that they have a wealth fund. The Scandinavian model cannot apply to countries with populations like us in France. What you need is private ownership of the public ownership of these assets to provide them at point of service. And the fundamental flaw with Thatcherism is that it has failed us. We have a barometer. Margaret Thatcher's power was 70 to 80s. The ideology is 80s, 90s, maybe late 95. The problem being is we can look back historically in our lifetimes. You know, you were young boys, I was a teenager. The entire effidation of what she has created has utterly failed. Private ownership of public assets has utterly failed, and it should be reversed. This is not a leftist ideology, because I don't agree with anything that's on the woke side, nor does Chris. In fact, we are arch centralists. We genuinely are. We believe in what is necessary for the British people. You can give a corporate tax that is beneficial to the corporation and to the people without giving them a back door to avoid it. That is one of the fundamental grassroots problems we have in today's society.
Greed.
Fix the tax. You can fix Britain and everything.
You're right, and that all boils down to greed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all greed, because you get, for example, just in Blackburn, right? And this ties into the topic. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but there's a few food places that have opened. Everything down to a T, legit, right? The only thing they didn't have was a license to food license.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know why, through their own stupidity, they didn't get the license. So now the council had turned around to them and say, you have to shut down. So they turned around and said, what if we just get the license? So we pay a bit more, fair enough, because we messed up, and we pay the fines and whatnot. No, you have to close the whole business down. All because, and now this is the talk on the street. It's not official, but it's a talk on the street. These guys, the people in council are not getting their backhanded money. So that's why now it's, oh, you didn't give us our backhanders, so now we're shutting you down completely.
Yeah.
They could easily whip up a license and the fines, and they're happy to pay the fines.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they didn't get their little backhand.
Of course. No, the corruption level, and these aren't just from your councils, these are councils down where we are too. Gloucester Council is megally incompetent. We have roadworks on our place all the fucking time, don't we?
It's about to get worse.
Yeah, it's next level. Like, you are stopping at emergency traffic lights every 5 minutes in Gloucester. So this isn't just a north problem. The starvation of money comes from the inequality of our tax system that allows every single company in Britain to completely dodge. Most corporates pay less tax than you do.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's not even euros anymore. And because of that, the burden of society, for the first time in nearly 1,000 years, in British rule of 1,000 years, I don't give a fuck about skin colour. For 1,000 years, the tax has always landed on the trader, the heavy merchant, the shipper, the landlord. It has not landed on you.
Yeah.
Only in the last couple of hundred years, probably since the 18th century, that has changed.
Yeah.
We need that to reverse. That's not woke, that's not leftist, that's returning to what was Britishly normal. The corporations want to operate in Britain, you give them a fair, flat tax. From my point of view, it's about 55%. That's far less than what the baseline is, which they get than 1 million exempts that allow them to pay between 5 and 10% tax. The tax system in the UK
I've said that from the start. So if the 10 biggest companies, the 10 multi-billion, trillion-pound companies, or whatever they are, in the UK, were to pay the right amount of tax that they were supposed to,
all the NHS problems would vanish. All the roads would be maintained.
Every single thing would be sorted.
The housing crisis would be over within a couple of months, because we'd see 200,000 or 300,000 small building companies having the money from government to then build the houses.
And similarly, I know this isn't the topic, but similarly, if the rich Arab leaders, and now I'm only doing this for people to understand what we just said there, if the rich Arab leaders were to pay their proper zakat, that's Islamic voluntary charity that we have to give. Everyone gives. So 2.5% of your wealth.
Could you imagine
the Saudi money of the Saudi money? And if they paid that proper tax,
country's GDP.
That would be world hunger gone.
No,
that alone would be world hunger.
No. If the Arab lords gave up their actual proper zakat, they would probably solve almost all of the internal problems in most of the poor Muslim countries in the world.
And from the time of our Prophet 1400 years ago, there was a time where zakat was it's still mandatory for Muslims. It was given to the people in their vicinity, right? There was a time where people had money and they didn't know who to give it to because there's no one poor left.
Because everyone was paying the proper
zakat.
So an example,
charity.
Let's take an example. You're a Christian living under the rule of Muslims. You're poor, you can't feed your family. These merchants have to now feed you.
Yeah.
You're Christian. That's a moral obligation.
Yeah.
It might be embarrassing for you to ask, but the Muslims wouldn't even think twice about it. Food would be coming off carts, your clothing, everything, because it reflects on them as the merchants of this area.
It's an obligatory act, so you have to do it. Every Muslim every year has to give, and if you're of age, so past puberty, and you have savings, even if it's £100, you still have to pay 2.5% of the £100 into charity.
Yeah.
It's an obligatory act.
If you saw the way that the Muslim system was, I would definitely think that you would think it would be beneficial to the British people. It genuinely would.
Of course, it would fix all the problems.
Yeah.
If we stuck with Sharia and how we give zakat and sadaqah and people,
this is an important
it
point.
would fix everything.
The Sharia is not what you think it is.
What
the Western media paints it as is not what. Let's take an example.
All they see as is chopping hands and stuff like that.
So let's give you an example. I'm going to be quite fair here. I'm pretty certain that my understanding of the Shia is different from probably these two gentlemen. They probably have a similarity, and that's within just the United Kingdom. It's going to be slightly different. We have different views. I'm a Malakite. I have a community-based understanding of fiqh. You have a more, I presume, Hanafi kind of approach. So that's just within our country. Now look at fiqh. Now look at the Shia between us and France. Now take the difference between Saudi Arabia and Malaysia. Which Shia are the British press talking about?
Exactly.
Because they are so different wherever you are sat.
What's your understanding of the Sharia?
First I've heard of it, to be honest.
Okay.
Like Islamic law?
Islamic law, very little of it.
Yeah,
so the typical English, British understanding of Sharia is literally Muslims want to come here, they want to take over everything, everything is Islamicized, and chop your hands if you're stealing, gauge your eyeballs out if you're looking wrong.
Like kill women and whatever.
That's got nothing to do with Sharia. That was 1400 years ago when times were different. But now, there's something in Islam, right? That's you know when commandments are given by God and our Prophet and stuff, right? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You stick to them, right? But there's something called fatwa. Now each scholar in each time is allowed to give a fatwa depending on the situation of an individual or a country or whatever.
Or the society within.
Yeah. So it's not like, we're not saying that Islam can be changed like Christianity or other, but we're saying
the
you
law
can
is
accommodate to
culture.
little things. You can accommodate to little changes within. As long as it doesn't change the base of the religion, you can still accommodate. So, for example, insurance is not allowed in our religion. We're not allowed to take insurance out, right? But the land that we live in requires insurance. You can't drive a car without insurance. It's illegal.
Yeah.
So then that's when the fatwas have been given that no, you have to get it then.
Yeah.
If it's the land of the law, if it's the law of the land, you have to take out the insurance.
Do you understand? So where Islamic law moves towards where you are is based upon the nature of the nation.
So it makes a slight tweak.
And when you and as I said, the difference between me and my brothers is not going to be huge. It's going to be a small little differences between us, and that's just the two of us and the three of us in the room.
And we believe that it's all right.
Yeah.
It's just the scholars that I follow have 99% the same understanding as the scholars, but just that 1% is slightly different. But it doesn't change the religion.
No. And the idea
beliefs.
and the idea that the British press have any kind of conceptible position about the Shia is laughable.
Yeah.
And the scholars that they bring on are middle-aged white atheists, man, and it drives me crazy. You almost never see an actual Muslim defending the Shia, talking about the Shia on telly. You don't. It's a joke.
There's so much going on. But
Now,
like,
if we just talk about our
The Muslim community,
the Muslim
of Britain-
community within, so your understanding of community and politics within the Muslim, how vast is that? How
The Muslim community has no central capacity to organise its vote. And that is a massive problem in the United Kingdom.
just to know,
And the reason I want to say that, and I just want to be carry on, is if the 3.5 to 4 million Britons voted one direction, we would change the face of politics across the entire island.
and that was, we saw an example of that in Blackburn. Last year, when the general elections were happening and you had the MPs running and whatnot, you had the candidates. You had Labour. It was almost unanimous that Labour, no one in Blackburn that's Muslim, or not just Muslim, but that was level-headed now, is not going to vote Labour. So Labour was Conservatives, definitely not. Right?
No, Blackburn.
Labour. So because over the years, all of our parents and our parents' parents always had
Voted
this.
Labour.
Labour, that's what
voted
we're taught.
and they had this loyalty because Labour got them out of shit back in the days and stuff like that.
So
they've
you
got
mean with
this
the Labour
undying-
Party were good people?
Yeah.
Yeah, when
So
the Labour
now
Party were good people.
So now they've got this loyalty towards them.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't move to them
Yeah.
until the Palestine-Gaza situation came. Now, what happened was, it was unanimously decided in Blackburn amongst the communities that no one's going to vote Labour. So Labour were shitting themselves completely.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Right, okay, no worries. Then there were 3 independent people that came up in Blackburn. So everyone's questioning, why are there 3 independent? One person was a woman. We did a podcast with her, right?
Okay.
The other one was
Craig Murray?
Craig Murray.
Craig Murray, yeah.
He is not from Blackburn. He's a diplomat. He used to be a British diplomat.
I
overseas.
don't trust him already. The minute you said the word British, they're all bought and paid for as well. They're all bought and paid
But
for.
he was under who's the Oldham? Is it Oldham? Independent that
Hope-
the guy with the top hat.
You mean Galloway?
Galloway.
Oh,
He was under
right,
Galloway, right?
I need to stop. I don't like him. I don't like I support him for what he does to defend the Palestinians, to what he does now, but I don't like his actual domestic politics.
Yeah.
There is a lot of it that is screamingly reactionary and not centralistic enough to keep the country stable.
So he had a few people set up in a few different towns, because obviously when you get a party and you earn and you have a few more than
MPs.
2 selected, you start getting funding and all that kind of stuff, right? So there was those accusations. But anyways, so there was that woman, there was Craig Murray, and then there was another guy called Adnan Hussein, who's the MP now.
Yeah.
Now you'd think in Blackburn that if we've all unanimously decided that we're not going to support Labour,
not going to say Conservative.
we can all get behind one independent and just. But there was a massive kick-off between all 3 of them. The woman got pushed aside. No one's voting her. Then the battle was between Craig Murray and Adnan Hussein. And what happened was half of the ex-Labour population were towards Craig Murray and half of them were towards Adnan Hussein. And that ties back to what you were saying earlier. We can't unify under one. They were both standing for the same reasons, Palestine and all that kind of,
The reality is the British
just
Ummah
couldn't unify.
has to unify.
They just
to fix its
he
problems.
narrowly won.
The last time the
Narrowly
Muslims were
won.
unified was about the mid 1800s or the late 1800s. The Ottomans had a Wida Khalifa within the Muslim community. That's the only time we were unified. After
the
that,
Muslims are not unified.
Let's just take the British Ummah needs to realistically get its shit together.
And
I say it like that because I need the jarringness for your viewers. I know Chris will know I'm quite vocabulary rude, but the reason the Muslims need to pull their pants the fuck up and
Yeah.
fix these problems is because they are now at a population number where they can shake all politics.
We matter now.
All
Definitely.
of it. Absolutely all of it.
Definitely.
Whether we are now at the point where if we were to all vote Liberal Democrat in this first past the post system, you would have a Liberal
would
Democrat
change,
government.
Yeah.
You would. Because
Or
the
even-
margins of error between all the parties are a few thousand in most seats.
Even if, let's cut out all the big parties, even if
Green.
there was, not even, no,
Yeah,
even if
that's
there
not
was,
a big
there was
party.
just a new party set up that all of the Muslims, and not just Muslims, but like-minded people, sensible people had voted, that's the new superpower party.
No. That party, and I will give you an example because of Nigel Farage's multiple failures. Look at UKIP, look at the Brexit Party. The reason that the first past the post system is disastrously bad for small and new parties is because people don't know you. And the British media still to this day even with social media, holds a stranglehold on the political ramifications. They modem entire forums. They literally push forward talk points on, and they flood the airways and the radio. And the radio is still very powerful in Britain. Still very powerful. Forget TV. TV is its own
Radio is
beast.
powerful. I listen to radio every
Radio
day.
is extremely powerful across Britain, and British political conversation is based around realistically three options: Labour, Conservative, Liberal Democrats. And now they are up talking that tweed-wearing twit.
Yeah.
And that is a massive red flag to me for the British public.
I feel like, as being born and raised in this country, I've always seen politics as
Dirty.
dirty, and it's just going that way. It's going down.
It's dirty going down because you are not engaging, brother.
But that's what I feel.
I'm saying.
I don't. You're right. I don't want to engage because I feel like because it's dirty. Why do I want to get my feet dirty for?
Because if you don't, your children are going to suffer.
At the same time, I feel like, let's just say for the sake of argument, it was a Muslim-led politician who did win. How would the white British think of that?
I think you are living in too much fear. I
don't care enough.
No.
But I'm just saying,
I'm telling you this now.
The
ethno-nationalist, from my own research, the ethno-nationalist makes up 4 or 5% of all the white Britons. The white Britons still only make up 84% of the entire island. You are overstating how much you the northern brown people. Please don't take that as an insult.
No.
You are overstating the fear of the white nationalist. The ethno-nationalist is so hated that me and Chris will never vote Conservative again, and we used to vote Conservative, and I'm quite free
When you
to
say
be
ethno-nationalist,
ethno-nationalists, people who believe that the Britain should be Welsh, English, Scottish, and Irish, and they exist. They are the Farages. They are the current reform,
got it.
the
Extreme right wing.
the extreme
Yeah,
right wing,
right,
and
yeah.
because people like Kemi Bennock are actually chasing that vote, that is self-destructive. Centralists, and I'm unapologetic. Years back, I was a conservative centralist. I believed that the Conservatives were financially viable, that they would look after the money, that they would make sure that we're not poor, that they would do sensible spending.
Yeah.
That was the view, and that's bullshit now.
Yeah.
Okay? They are chasing this idea of Britain first, British nationalism first. And the more people like Bennock and her kin, and her whole cabinet are like that, continue to chase the ethno-national voice, the dark, evil ethno-nationalists will not vote for them, even though they're being chased and they're alienating people like us.
Right.
So who do the Middle Britons turn to? They won't turn to Labour. They know Keir Starmer's a liar. He won his majority was by a wafer thin, and as a domestic prime minister, he has failed us. He's done well on foreign policy. He's done well on foreign trade. We will give him his creditation when it comes to that.
Foreign minister would be good.
Yeah.
Right.
an example of how he's done well.
Whether we like it or not, that Trump deal will financially benefit Britain. The European deal will absolutely benefit Britain. These are financial.
It's reversing effects of Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to unfuck the country from Brexit. But he's still running on the same old model of operating within the current tax system. You must radically take a sledgehammer to that. Because only by restructuring the tax system can you really solve the generational problems we've got, both in the north, the Midlands, and the south. Because the south is starting to feel this weight. Quite often, Londoners would never have felt immune. As you're well aware, most of my home city, where I've grew most of my life growing up in, ignored the problems. It's north of the Watford Gap. That's genuinely the opinion. That was the ideology. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
London hasn't felt like that in about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
My sisters have told me this.
Right.
So you overstate, in my opinion, Dizzy, of the ideological position of the white nationalist.
I don't blame them. I feel like it's what they've been
Brainwashed.
believed to be.
Absolutely.
Fed.
Completely. And Farage feeds on that.
Yeah.
I was to say that will go completely out the window if the person was Muslim that took office, stated stuff that they wanted to be done, followed through with it, succeeded with it.
Sorry.
That illusion would
You
go
put
up in a
a
puff of smoke.
Muslim prime minister in office who keeps his word,
Yeah.
you will break all the problems that the Ummah suffers from racism in the country. You put a British prime minister who's a Muslim in the office and he says, I'm going to lower the tax problems to the British people, I'm going to fix the fucking roads.
Actually do it.
And he does it. And he
And
doesn't
he does
care
it.
who he upsets in the
Yeah.
rich world to do it.
Yeah, and
What you will
that's
have-
going to happen is it's not going to it destabilizes their arguments. Muslims, immigrants,
Yeah.
this, that.
Yeah.
It completely it takes away their argument points.
Yeah. The nationalist vote is not as heavy as you think it is. It's a swing vote. And that's what you need to realise. Moderate conservatives are aghast, horrified. I speak to them regularly. Like I said, I ran for a Conservative councillor, so I'm still technically in the Gloucestershire Council kind of area, and I'm in talks with them. They're horrified by Nigel Farage, disgusted by him. And the chase of Bennock moving down that direction makes many Conservatives deeply angry. I genuinely think the Conservative Party's at death's door. I genuinely feel that I think they've come to the event horizon. To fix what they have to do now, they have to burn all the and we're talking about ERG.
They got to get rid of everything and start again.
Everything from their top party right now has to go. Bennock, all of her shadow cabinets, the whole lot, and they need to have a one nation stand up and say, and it would be the shock value. Brexit failed. We should go back to Europe.
And if they're not saying that though.
No. If a conservative leader said that, he could win an election. Because he'd be showing honesty to a mistake.
That's what we're lacking, honesty.
Yeah.
Within the parties. Like if we did have a Muslim MP who was running for Prime Minister and we shattered all the
images,
everything that they've been told about Muslims, and we got a foot in the door and become MP, Prime Minister, PM, like you said, we would be able to show a different side.
Absolutely.
And fix everything. And stick to our words.
Fundamentally, I think one genuine believing Muslim Prime Minister would solve so much, because he would stop paying attention to the outside world.
True.
For example, right, if you look at this, I know it's a completely different avenue, but you know Ofsted, the new guy that runs Ofsted, is a Muslim.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
He's a Muslim, and not just a Muslim with a big beard as well, right?
And all the press is kicked off about it.
Kicked off. But how much has he improved? If you just look at his stats and how he's improved, he used to work. He was the principal, I think, of one of the major Islamic institutes in Blackburn, and they used to run under Ofsted. So it wasn't just Islamic Institute. They used to teach English, history, geography, all that kind of stuff, GCSEs, all of it. That school, from when he became principal to now, is in the food world you'd call it a 5-star Michelin chef restaurant.
I hate
that's
that
what
system.
but you know what I'm saying, he's become
Top tier.
the top tier school. Everyone in Blackburn is trying to get in, even non-Muslims are trying to get into that school.
That's good. That's good. That's the example.
And he is now doing the same thing with Ofsted.
Yeah.
So imagine
But he's
if
getting
the
so much
same
pushback though.
But
of course, but you've got to take the pushback.
You have to take
You have to take it. You take it on the chin, and I think he will. I think he will stand his ground on that one. Because
imagine
the more you fix it, the more you show that we're not these two-dimensional monsters that the press want us to make us are. The more you emphasise the complexity of both the British Ummah and Tizzy, I'm really glad you mentioned about about your fears involving that, because I think it's a very clear point of view that. And please don't be offended by this. The brown community have this fear. The ethno-nationalist is not as powerful as you think he is. He blows up his chest like a peacock. His feathers go out. He makes a lot of noise. But genuine conservatives are disgusted by him.
And it's those people that we need to target to change the minds, not the ethno.
Yeah, you're never going to change
No,
that.
no.
And that's why
centralized conservatives.
centralists,
Yeah, those are the people that are able to think,
Fix the country.
and
And
we
they
can
want to fix the country.
So if the Muslim voters and the Muslim runners go to
Them,
these
integrate
people,
with them, talk to them.
and that's the problem we were having in Blackburn right now. For example, and because we're talking about the thing, Blackburn comes up a lot in this conversation. Now, when certain people were running for, when both of them actually, Craig Murray and Adnan Hussain were both running for MP, last year, they were doing door to door.
Yeah.
99% of their door to doors were in Muslim areas. They didn't go to any of the white areas. Only now and then. And it's like, so you've already got our votes.
Yeah.
Don't concentrate on us. Go and concentrate on the other people where you can change their minds from Labour or from Conservatives or whatever. Change their minds. Don't change our minds. You've already won.
I feel like all the white British people need is a conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes they'll be stuck. The older generation might be stuck in their ways. Fair enough. We can't change everyone.
Look,
I will tell you this now. You have to, because the British older generation are just getting larger as a group demographically.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't avoid that conversation. So that conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
You need to sit down with the elders.
All we have to do is just
explain how it will benefit them.
Yeah.
Once you do that,
focus on the one area which you know they are concerned about,
yeah.
but you know you can help with.
Right.
Focus on that point, you immediately win that generation.
Yeah.
but the easiest
But then you must follow through with it.
absolutely.
That's the key,
And
innit?
I think the most reasonable position there is that the winter fuel allowance is such a lightning rod. But
I hate that.
I know.
I hate
It's
that.
such a lightning rod. But the reality is, you need to do more than that. Go above and beyond that.
Yeah.
So the winter fuel allowance being reinstated wouldn't be enough, in my opinion. If I was to speak to the white elderly British, I would say to them, winter fuel allowance, completely unquestionable. That's you've worked, you've given us
Yeah,
all
man.
it was for this.
Come on.
On top of that, free bus services
Yeah.
for everybody, unquestionably, under any circumstances. Free train services,
Yeah.
so you can travel. So you give the elders freedom to travel across their island,
Yeah.
and you make sure that their homes are
Yeah, and
heated.
you're also looking at
And there's something new that one of the pensioners told me. They're starting to tax pensions now.
Yeah, I heard about that a couple of months ago.
Vile.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's-
fucking vile.
That's
Yeah, if your
horrible,
pension goes above a certain
Threshold,
Yeah.
it's now
threshold,
taxed.
Yeah.
you're taxed.
You can fix this by fixing the tax system. I keep saying this because, as I said, there's over 115,000 pages of tax exempts given to hundreds of companies.
When I retire, the amount I've got set up for my retirement, I'll be paying tax.
Move out the country, mate.
And that's all
Don't
tax
change.
money.
It's not.
It's already been taxed.
It's all
And
tax
tax
money.
It's already been taxed, and I'll be taxed again on it.
This is why I'd move
Yes, I'll-
because you can't get taxed on shares. I'd move it to shares.
It literally,
In ISIS and
Yeah. Because-
that's just coming from the pension I got from my workplace and the state pension. I will literally almost double the bracket.
Oh.
I've looked at mine recently, and I'm only just under it because I've been in. Even though with the education I've got, I've always been in food trade.
I played into mine to make sure that I was settled, and I far exceed the bracket.
And the bracket
Horrible.
isn't that
That is
hard to
horrible.
exceed. That's
That
the
is
problem.
horrible.
Brothers.
What's the
I-
limit on it now?
I think it's 195,000, something like that. Pot in. Yeah, no. Look at your face as it all. You're the mechanic. You come from a trade craft. That's going to be hard for you not to break. I'm telling you, you need politicians who need to start the biggest problem. Unquestionably, the Muslim community needs to understand this. The biggest single problem in Britain is how the distribution of tax is modified, and how companies, Google, Amazon, those dirty bastards at Amazon, how they treat their workers.
Horrible,
Am
isn't
I
it?
right in saying that the tax came from Umar radiallahu anhu? Do you know?
British tax system generally came
Or
from the Normans.
just the first.
No, the first tax system is Chinese.
Always Chinese.
Yeah, no, it's
long,
much older.
long ago.
We're
Right.
talking around minus 3000 BC with the original Chinese. China has money going back there, taxes back there. Huge go.
Yeah.
Almost, I can comfortably say almost 40 to 50% of all ancient technology comes from Asia.
Yeah.
And most modern technology, more than 30% of it probably comes from Asia again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? The human race, the bulk of our population is in Asia. The bulk of our thinking is in Asia.
Yeah.
The bulk of our political power. The Western world is a blip, historically speaking.
Wouldn't make a difference.
But it's made out to be the centre of the world.
We haven't. The Western world has had power for the last 250 years.
Yeah.
Asia has been the heart of humanity for the better part of 3,000 or 4,000 years. It's going back there. I think people need to get used to that idea.
Off camera, that's exactly why we've invested in Chinese companies.
Exactly.
Because that's where you're going to make money now. We can see it's all going that way.
Listen to the voice. We're going to get some money making.
No, literally, that's what it is.
Nice little advice.
Now, what are your thoughts on?
We need to get over the fear of the masjid talking about politics. We need to start telling. I'm telling you, that's the biggest central point of Muslims. We need to tell the imams. We need to tell the sheikhs. You have to back off. We have to organise, and the best organisation position is here. And that is a hubris. There's a massive hubris inside the British Muslim community of not talking politics in around the masjids. That needs to stop.
And not talking the right
politics. Yeah, no, of course.
The right politics. Not politics of that. No,
family politics. But, actual national politics
Proper
needs
politics,
to start being discussed inside the Muslim masjids.
we were saying that. We were speaking with one of our guests that we have, Sheikh Salim Sidat.
I saw that episode. Beautiful episode.
Very, very knowledgeable Sheikh.
Yeah.
And one thing that we took away from them political talks as well was we as the message that we're trying to send out is us youngsters need to get into politics.
Yes.
That is the reason why we've transitioned our podcast from random talking stuff to now real life problems.
Yeah.
Within the podcast, we have life, we have comedy and this and
Absolutely.
that. But the main topics are real life topics.
Yeah.
They have to be. We need more politically aware, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very pleased to do these podcasts with you at the Brain Cell, because it needs to. There are so few British political podcasting channels that are willing to tackle actually problems. Because you've got people talking about, oh, my cat's this, my dog's this, but they claim that their podcasters are British because people are not challenged by these conversations. We need to now take a real, genuine
interest.
Not just interest. Stop fucking around Britain. Roll up your sleeves, pull the guts out of these evil politicians, throw them all in the fucking bin, and elect people who actually care about your pissing country.
Yeah.
For your country.
As much as white British people think that Muslims or South or whatever don't care about the country, it's so wrong.
They do.
It's so wrong.
I've never
honestly, God, like, I love, as much as I hate being here with the weather, people, whatever, I still love being here because it's where I've been raised.
It's mine.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's mine. It's home.
This is your people.
Literally, I'd feel more comfortable here than going back to Pakistan. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because you've been raised here.
I'm born and raised here.
I mean, you know more about Britain, about Blackburn and the North than I do. I'm a 13th generation Irishman, if you ask my grandfather.
So you said something just a minute ago which is so true. Let people that care about the country
do something about it, man.
Do something about it. Put them in power. Now, an example of that, right, is in my company that I work for. I'm an engineer. The big bosses, accountants, businessmen.
Wrong people. Wrong people.
Now, we've as engineers always say to each other, one of us needs to go up and run the company. Because if an engineer runs the company, the point where who's making you money, which are the engineers, that whole sector will be sorted out and you'll get 10 times more money because an engineer's running it. Obviously he'll have business, trade and all that. But an engineer knows the problems.
How do you fix the NHS? The answer to that is you take surgeon generals in a room and you get them to fix the problem. You tell them what they need and then you provide for it. How do you fix the roads? You get road engineer and road designers to sit in a fucking room and fix it.
It's not very hard, is it?
How is an accountant going to tell me how to do my job? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. How am I going to go to an accountant and tell an accountant, do it like this?
The scary thing on a tangent, accounting as a human being will not exist in 15 years.
You think?
AI will annihilate it.
AI is already starting.
The programs that are coming out now.
They are already laying off hundreds of certain types of accountants in London right now. My brother-in-law is in
Went to a
accounting.
degree.
It is gone. The business, that
My
industry
uncle's
is
an
dead.
accountant, and I remember this conversation I was having him.
And the problem with that is you cannot lay off that industry without solving the tax loopholes that exist in our country. And moving back towards your point about putting the right people in place, you need to stop electing populists.
Yeah.
Britain, and especially with the British Ummah, the pretty boy, you know, the Tisra here, you know, the example of the Muslim right man here, you can't elect people like that to do, let's say, running, I don't know, a power company.
Yeah.
As a mechanic, you might have an idea, as I'm giving you an example, you have an idea of how to run a power company, you might know how the working parts work, but you wouldn't know how to spreadsheet, you wouldn't know how to sort out the
It's a team. It's a team.
It's a
You
team
need a
effort.
team.
You need the right people at all the places, and you need to stop electing the pretty boys. Yeah? They're great for postering, but terrible for fucking decision making.
Yeah.
Get us.
No, you don't. You don't want me.
I'm correcting him after time. That's kind of right.
All you'd hear in press conferences, Chris, I need some help.
No.
I fucked up.
No. If we're gonna role play that, no, it's like fuck you, you've lost your license.
Yeah.
No, John, calm down. You're not getting your license back. Jesus Christ, stop! You're melting the country. That's to be fair. Part of me is scared of the idea because there is a long-term plan that me and Chris, when our podcast will make, we are determined that it will make. We want to go into politics for the very real reason that we do not believe our country is being led properly.
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not.
By any of them.
It's running by rich people.
For rich people.
For rich people.
Taking their cut.
It's just bullshit. For us, though, we're just sidelined.
And this is why.
Collateral.
The system is designed
and I know
to keep us
I do joke about how I would try to burn down the system and start again, but I'd be too terrified because I'd be frightened of how it affects your lives. And that is a genuine fear that me and him have. And
it's fear you have.
Were you telling me you wouldn't want to burn the system down?
I would scrap it to bare bones and rebuild.
Okay.
And I wouldn't even second thought.
Okay, let's explore that. What would happen if you were to do that?
Do that? Well, obviously there'd naturally be turmoil regardless anyway, because you can't have change without upset.
Yeah.
So the upset needs to happen in order for change to actually progress. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. It's the way of everything else. In order to get what you want, you must
Radically fix the system.
You must destroy to create.
Yeah.
It's even within nature, destruction happens, it creates new life.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen within the politics system. First off would be the tax thing. I would literally turn around and just take the main rules, the main structure out of it, then the rest, rebuild, and literally change it probably to no more than seven key points. That's it.
And you'd see that change happening within a couple of months.
Because
there'd be turmoil. Accounting companies would collapse.
You'd see the benefits of them changes happening just in a couple of months.
No, probably to the next tax year. Because if you make a radical tax change, like shifting that, the knock-on effect won't come till the April pay increase. Because what happens is most companies don't pay their taxes. They don't pay any of their taxes.
It would take at least 2-3 years for it to be fully up and running. First year would be
testing
chaotic.
The bugs, testing the bugs, fixing the problems.
So if anyone was to watch this and to take away one thing from this would be that the tax issues in our country are the root
cause of almost all of our major problems. It is the one thing me and Chris talk about all the time. The tax system is what is causing all of your ails. You haven't got funding for your nursing home, tax problem. You haven't got funding for the local roads, tax problem. You haven't got funding for the local football.
And is that because the
kids?
tax has been not properly assigned to where
No, because everyone has an exempt.
They've given too many back doors, so you don't pay tax the higher up you go.
Every single company, even some of the small to medium ones, has a back door these days. And if corporation are not, like I said, for 200 years, we've had this lopsided system where me and you have carried the burden instead of the corporate world. That has not been natural in Britain. It is not a normal course of action. Not even in Asia is that normal. When you look at how ancient Asia, ancient Japan, all of these big silk companies that you know were going to make shit tons of money when they bring it over to Europe, the Silk Road, 80% of it was taxed. The Chinese emperor was taking 80% of it because he had China to feed. China's roads needed maintaining. And the 20% the merchant was left with was huge.
Yeah.
This is what you say. If I take 80% of an $800 million business, it's still making 200 or 100 million fucking dollars a year. That's still a profit. Yeah. This driven towards always ever increasing gain of profit for shareholders is insanity because it damages the societies they're in, and places like us have to fix them.
It needs to be a balanced system.
Yeah.
Fair amount of tax for us, fair amount of tax for the corporations.
And ones they can't wiggle out of.
And no backdoors. No backdoors whatsoever.
No backdoors.
But then that means rewriting
the tax
laws.
Entire system.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years.
No. One law.
Laws.
No, one law. I've had this conversation. One law. We, the undersigned of the British people, do declare all other tax systems unquestionably outlawed. One law. Table full of law, kick, burn.
Yeah.
Build new system.
Yeah.
Now, in that regard, I agree with Chris about burning that part to the ground because of the amount of exemptions. So that includes the ancient banks.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
The ancient legal.
Hence the reason why I said take the main points
Structure.
which support everybody.
Chris, who's a money's man himself, would take all the legal requirements to build a tax system, pull it out of the system, and then you just write one law. All tax passed from here will be decided by this Act of Parliament, because the bedrock of democracy. One of the conversational positions, one of the bedrock of democracy is no standing government is bound by a previous government's agreements. That is one of the base principles of democracy. So Tizzy decides, he elects himself on a campaign of, I'm going to provide free food, bed and water for all the elderly. He gets elected. You can't afford that, your government collapses. John comes up and says, I will make it sustainable by a means test. My method, I am not bound by your agreements. That is the raw basis of democracy. So I am not bound, in my humble opinion, to any part of the current tax system, because it does not benefit you, me, your wife, your kids, anybody in your community. It doesn't benefit 96% of the entire British Isle. And that needs to be said every day. The tax system does not work for you or me. And it's why the reason that people like nasty men like Nigel Farage are riding that ticket.
Yeah.
He knows it's a button ticket, and people like him want to spill it out. I'll cut the taxes. No, he'll cut the taxes for his friends who fund his party. That's the taxes he wants to cut.
Yeah.
He's not cutting your taxes because you've got to pay for his.
The day he gets in power,
He's
the
not
day
gonna,
this country's fucked.
He's not going to, like they said, them people only make up a couple of percent.
The only people.
I think you'd be surprised.
No, stop.
Because
I can hear the grief and fear. Let me explain something to you. Nigel Farage appeals to only one section of the greater Conservative Party. Okay, not ignore the councillors, ignore the bloody MPs.
Okay.
The general populace of those who vote Conservative, Nigel Farage applies to a tiny minority of them, and the ethno-nationalists on top. The combined weight of those can't exceed more than about 8 million Britons.
Okay. 8
million Britons have never carried in one direction such a radical change, because we've had 8 million people supporting Obi-Wan Kenobi, the far leftist. I'm forgetting his name now. Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn had one of the largest Labour leanings left you could ever possibly have. But because his policies were so left-wing radical, it alienated the centre of our country. That you cannot alienate the centre. Tizzy, I'm telling you this now, no amount of right-wing rhetoric will put Nigel Farage in 10 Downing Street.
So Jeremy Corbyn would have been perfect, in your opinion, if he was
more centralistic. Yes.
Yeah. If he wasn't completely left.
His financial understanding is too left-wing, far too left-wing. And he has such an inept ability of understanding that British people will not tolerate one far extreme or the other. We've never elected a far right-wing person. Nigel Farage and almost all of his party and the infrastructure under him are entirely right-wing, ultra right-wing. The Central Britons will not tolerate it, mate.
And Central Britain, that's what makes up most of the population.
Yes, of course. Tizzy, even if by first past the post system he gets 50 MPs, outside the realms of what is, he is never going to be Prime Minister on that
I
ticket.
hope not. Everything he spews is just
Of course, absolutely,
vile.
absolutely. But that's the thing about Nigel Farage. He's appealing to a very tiny minority of our island. And I need to stress that most Britons, 90% of the British population, despise him.
Yeah.
Even Conservatives. I've spoken to tons of Conservatives. You're talking to an ex-Conservative wannabe councillor, an ex-Conservative voter. No one likes Nigel Farage in the general centre of the Conservative Party. Yes, he appeals to an element of the Conservative Party, but that element is not enough to swing a vote to get him to be Prime Minister.
Because all a centrist knows, if he gets in power, he'll cause more harm than good.
Absolutely.
And that'll be within the first couple of
reason.
months.
That's the fundamental reason why Jeremy Corbyn lost.
Because he
the
was too far on that
centralists
side.
were too far on the left. You take the measurement of that. I know many of you thought he was brilliant in foreign affairs, but his domestic was horrific. He was going to nationalise entire companies, banks included.
The issue I'm seeing slowly is, right, the Muslim population and their votes don't think politically, they think, what's the word?
Religiously.
That, but emotionally.
Yeah.
They think emotionally rather than politically. Because we all, and I still do love Corbyn, right? But we all saw Corbyn as the future Prime Minister emotionally, because of our emotional attachment to him, because he loved Palestine and all
he's
that
a
kind of stuff.
beautiful foreign secretary.
Right.
As I said, the same thing I said about Keir Starmer when it comes to business.
But
He'd make an excellent business secretary or foreign secretary. They are both inappropriate. You cannot have someone like that in the centre of the country.
Yeah, because we're not thinking too politically.
Yeah.
We're not thinking politically.
Politically, people on far left and right do not operate.
Yeah.
They don't. They just, the British people have rejected them. And this is why, Tizzy, I think you're worrying too much about someone like Nigel Farage. He is not going to make
Because I see people,
you racists are the loudest people in the group.
Yeah. But then there's only a handful of them.
There's only a handful of them.
Yeah.
Because I've been to places, Cumbria area, where there's predominantly all white people.
Yeah.
99.9% they'll be white people. But they are probably the nicest people I've met.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then I come down here and I'm like, I'm working, I find someone, I see someone, he's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want to have a conversation with him. But it's like, that one person reflects. It shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But it puts a perspective on someone.
Absolutely.
That like how British, those type of people
see
yeah, basically
yeah, so
others.
stereotypes.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Absolutely. What you've got to understand is Gloucestershire has been more conservative, our county, than it has been any other party.
Okay.
And I have spoken to entire elderly gentlemen, 80s, 70-year-olds, who have said to me there is no way on any earth that I would ever vote for Nigel Farage, because he is the kind of nutcase that I'm frightened would start a race war.
So if we were so I want to ask you a question just before we come to an end now. In your town city, if Conservative wasn't an option, because their policies are just dog shit now, right?
Green.
Yeah.
Green or Liberal.
Really?
If there was an independent, would you?
Don't know.
Depending on the
That's
person.
That depends on that individual. That's a very critical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Is the person charismatic enough to draw it? And I don't
And
like
their policies and
I
so
don't
they
like charismatic leaders. I'm sorry, because they don't make great politicians.
Okay.
People that have, okay, so an example, a person in your area, he's everything you wanted, right? You voted for him. He's a,
Okay.
what would you call him? The MP of the area or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah. So he went in with the intention of doing his part, changing everything. But the system that's
Didn't
placed
allow him.
already won't allow him to do it.
As much as he promised.
Yeah.
The simple answer is you disrupt. You must disrupt. You disrupt the system.
So I came
And
across.
that's where many MPs fall down. They conform too much.
So I came across an X message tweet, whatever, of the Blackburn's current MP, and he replied to someone else's message of a different politician or something, saying, "We can't make change, and disruption is you don't really want to do
Yes,
disruption.
you do. You have to.
So this MP, which I applaud him on, turned around and said, as the MP is currently, this was only a couple of days ago, I came across it, and he said exactly what you said. We have to disrupt.
You have to disrupt the system, because the system, once enough MPs disrupt it, the system has to change.
Yeah.
That's the rule of democracy. The system cannot survive mass disruption. You get 10 MPs disrupting it, you have a problem. You have 25 MPs, you've got a countryside problem.
Yeah.
Do you think the UK is
Yes.
a sense of democracy, like as the essence of democracy?
Yes.
You think it is?
Yes, I think that my country's starting to realise that they have to wake up. The younger generation are talking more about it with me. People I work with, I'm very cagey about my workplace, I don't like mentioning it.
Yeah, yeah.
But the people I work with, many of the younger generation weren't connected to politics until they watched our podcast.
Yeah.
Some of our earliest subscribers are from my work colleagues.
Okay.
And then most of their generations are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And that level of engagement is exactly what I want. Because I need these kids, even if they all think I'm crazy. No, I'm genuinely honest. Even if they all think I'm crazy,
it doesn't matter.
if they engage in politics, the system will change.
The first thing you have to do is we have to, and the same. It happened with us. So we're speaking from experience. We went into politics. Speak with individuals that that give you a bit of an interest in politics. Because if right now an 18, 19-year-old will see no interest in politics because it's not interesting, I don't care about it. But if it's explained in a beautiful way first, if it's explained and this is why we started off the podcast saying and because I've watched your podcast as well, and you have a way of explaining things. You do not know, it's genuine. You guys have a way of explaining things. I said this once about one of my teachers. I've always hated math, coming from an engineer. I hated math when I was in high school. I used to get girls to do my homework and shit.
I thought it was the pretty boys' job. The kind of thing Chris tells me you would do. I've got my girlfriend to sort this out for me.
But when I went to, Mick.
Remember
Mick?
Yeah,
when we went
he was
to
really
college,
good.
there was this one, and he was an ex-electrician.
Yeah.
That
And
moved over.
ex-army as well.
Ex-army and ex-electrician, and he moved over into education.
Yeah.
And he taught me maths in them 3 years.
Yeah,
Like
true.
I've never heard maths before.
Yeah.
That prompted me to then finally go into engineering and then.
So I going to that person, I failed entire GCSE. I wasn't interested in education at all. Right, went to college, went engineering together, and this guy made the effort and explained everything from bottom. And it's not easy with engineering.
It wasn't. Like how teachers, and not just like the maths now. We're talking in anything, so it could be politics, it could be geography or whatever.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't just textbop kind of teaching.
No, you can't
It
teach
was
that.
personal level. They engaged with us on a personal level.
Yeah.
And
That's what we do, isn't it, Chris? We try to engage people on a personal level when we're podcasting.
Yeah.
The idea is you have to reach across with these political points.
And that's what we try to do in our podcast. The reason why, because we understand that our demographic that watch is either our age or slightly younger. We don't really get slightly older, so we try and add in certain words and certain things that they can relate to. Comedic jokes within the topics that they can relate to. It's all about getting the person interested first. And that happened with us with politics. We spoke to a few people on camera, off camera as well, and we were just, that's it. And I would never have thought in a year's, right now in 2025, we'd be talking politics. Never would have thought it.
We have
here
to.
we are.
To fix Britain now, the British population, all of us, you, me, Chris, we all have to start engaging in the politics
because
now.
At the end of the day, we need to stop looking at this as just Britain, and we need to start looking at it like it's our home.
It is.
It's home.
Everybody has to start taking stock of what's going on. Both votes, both against votes, the ideology, and Tizzy, you do, and I love what you've done here because you have shown the vulnerability of the brown community. I don't mean that in a disrespect.
No,
because of their fear of the nationalists. The nationalists are tiny. I cannot, as a white man, stress this enough, how small they are on the rump end of the Conservative Party, but they are the fucking loudest.
Yeah.
And that's
so true.
It is scary for many people in that regard who aren't white people. They need to be stomped on. And I think that the centre of my country is slowly waking up and is about to kick the living shit out of Farage's group. I think the next couple of by-elections you're going to start seeing a turn as his party starts to disintegrate, because he's never successfully won a the UKIP party fell apart, all of these parties have fallen apart. That is the example you need. This is a man who has failed at leading
Reform
parties.
is just going to be another one of those.
Yes.
It's a death touch. Everything he touches just dies.
I mean, that's his
What is
nature.
it? The Grim Reaper, isn't it?
The political reaper. And the fact that the Tories are chasing him is, in my opinion, almost a death blow to them.
Yeah, and it shows exactly where the Tories are going as well. They're
And
gonna
that's
be
why
heading
so
down that.
much of my country will not be... I don't think we will see a Tory government again until we're OAPs, or if ever. They are coming close to terminal decline. Because we had 14 years of mismanagement.
Yeah.
14 years of horrible...
That's enough to alienate an entire group of people and say, right...
Whole generation.
A whole generation.
Whole generation.
And then to have leaders still chasing the same...
And Storm, what Storm was doing, is heading down the same path with Labour.
He's a liar.
No.
He's a liar.
I got to be careful about that, because and the reason I say no is because he's done the financial benefit of those two trade deals. You cannot underestimate how they will have changed, because we're coming out of Brexit. So stop thinking that we are not in a bare bones Brexit exit. Once we get back to when we were teenagers,
So are you saying
financially,
for the next
I think
20, 30 years, it could be Labour dominated?
no. Labour will not be able to hold on to power. I think the first part of the post system is going to collapse. I think we will come into a form of representative democracy. There will be an unfortunate, because of representative democracy, there will be a growth of a small surge of Nigel Farage's party. That's going to happen. But there will be a lot more powerful movements in Green, in the Lib Dems, in smaller parties that are up and forming, because people will start voting for what they are, and the centre may pull itself slightly. It will move from centre right to centre left, and the left will generally benefit from this. The right will still have a voice, but I don't think the right will have a national power again for a very long time.
And in conclusion, that is what our political experts have to say.
Did you say
political experts?
Political analysts.
Listen, if I don't see-
we'll go with analysts.
What's it? Experts.
Experts a bit arch. We're more in tune than some of our countrymen, and I think more of our country needs to be in tune.
But I feel like, the younger generation, the millennials, whatever you call them, the Gen Z.
You're millennial.
Yeah,
See, I'm a millennial.
He's a millennial. I'm the Gen Xer here. I'm
Do you know-
the old man.
So like
I get confused
those people,
as well.
I know, right? So those,
No, I know, it's just the way they count
teenagers
generations.
/ adults, like between 17 and 25-ish,
yeah.
whatever, those lot,
Gen Zs.
I feel like they are opening up. They're
They're
different to
becoming
their
more
parents.
aware, they're becoming more aware than your millennial generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The millennial
very-
generation
Our
is
parents'
not.
generation.
But if that's not, if that awareness isn't kept, how do I say?
No,
Retained.
as long as
Retained.
yeah,
It could go too far left.
Or too far right.
yeah.
No, there
I
are
don't
no.
think. I don't think you go too far right.
No.
I think it might just
the
go
Andrew
too far
Tate
left.
cult is fucking huge in our youth. That's something we might want to talk
Yeah.
about. Like you want to consider talking.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cult,
yeah.
not just white people,
Yeah.
but amongst the young British Muslims,
Yeah.
that cult is dangerous. And I do think I encourage your sheikh to talk about him because he's going to do it from a scholarly point of view,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
can't do.
yeah.
I would advise you to say to him, please talk about Andrew Tate's cult status because it is dangerous to the young ummah.
But okay, on a side note, whatever, with his views of whatever he believes in or whatever, I feel like it's just show. That's it. Unfortunately, because his job is the internet.
Yeah.
I fundamentally believe he came to Islam on false pretense.
Allah, we can't judge.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever he's decided on his part,
it's one
that's
of them,
his part.
whether it's show or not,
Yeah,
the effects.
yeah,
of
effect's
it
crazy. Man.
And that's why
are there.
I think that scholars need to get ahead of this, and that's why your scholar, when you bring him back,
Yeah, of course,
if you
of
do,
course.
Yeah.
should realistically talk
That's
about
a
that
good-
because
that's
it
a
is
good
a dangerous thing. Because the youth are very impressionable,
Very.
and I have no interest in letting a man like that run rampant for our people.
No.
Anyway, it has been a pleasure, Chris.
Yeah.
Nice indeed.
It's been. Oh, definitely we'll do this again, but this time we'll come down to you.
Yeah. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Our studio would love that. For full reference, our studio's in a nunnery, in a disused nunnery.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's in the basement of a disused nunnery.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, a very ancient building. I think it's 14th century.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
You should do a tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should do a tour on one of
There's
your
a,
podcasts.
there's a school we can't go to.
Okay.
Because the school is still part of it.
Oh, okay.
But the nunnery used to run the school.
You should do it.
And then
You
they
should
sold
do
the nunnery and
it. In
everything.
one of your podcasts, you should do a tour of it. Yeah,
You think we should probably do that? It's not a bad idea. Run the tour around.
do a quick tour?
As long
Is
as
it a
we can-
big place?
It's a proper nunnery.
Is it?
Yeah, no, the grounds of a proper
Yeah,
nunnery.
yeah,
It
yeah,
has
yeah.
a school on it, it has
Oh,
school
wow.
grounds, car park.
That's smart.
Part of it is now housing, so I'm not sure if we can do much of a tour.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But the part we rent, we sublet, it's down in the wine cellar. And one point of historical fact that I think we should leave at the end of the thing, there was a point in history where no man had stepped foot in that cellar for 150 years.
Bloody hell. Well, that's not good.
Yeah. No man. After the initial construction of the nunnery, where the sisters would retreat to religious reasons, no man went down in those particular cellars or in those dark areas or the quarter areas for more than 150 years. And that includes priests.
That's insane.
That was a point of Britain only a few hundred years ago. And they moan at us about separation of the sexes. A'udhu billah. Been a pleasure.
I hope you've enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely,
And,
so
I hope you leave your comments, subscribe to their channel, subscribe
Blue
to
collar
ours.
workers, all of mine. Yeah, you owed a brain cell some love here.
And likewise,
Yeah.
back right back at them.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam.